I could do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the council. I have convinced them to do a part 2. Well, it didn't take much convincing.
It didn't take much.
But we are going to do a part 2 for our the art of flirting, mastering flirting, because we only scratched the surface, and I feel like we have so much more to talk about.
Definitely.
So, as you know, it's your girl, Cosette.
Lexi.
And Rachel.
And here we are teaching you how to flirt. We're
Part
still in
2.
Part 2. Oh, man. And here we are teaching you how to flirt. Part 2.
Two.
Really, guys?
Okay, wait, do it again, dude.
And here we are teaching you how to flirt.
Part 2. Beautiful.
So last we left off with this conversation, we were talking a lot about emojis and how to make it clear that you are flirting over text. There's also a lot of different ways. I feel like maybe sliding into the DMs on Instagram versus text versus dating apps can all be very different. So are there any times that you've received a message on social media or anything virtually that you felt was too forward?
I
feel
know
like you've
Rachel
gotten
has.
some very forward.
We're both like,
You know?
Rachel has.
I feel like definitely if you're trying to get my attention, don't blatantly like comment on my post, you know? If it's like something super out there and strong, it's
for
like,
everyone to see. Too.
Yeah, for everyone to see, and like I don't even know you. It's like, okay, that should be left to the DMs, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you're like not my boyfriend or the person I'm seeing at this time, I don't think like if you're trying to get my attention, I don't think commenting on my body or like you're so hot gets my attention.
No.
You know, like when you see those comments, you're like, I'm not clicking on you. Like I just feel like gross. But if we're like already established and you're throwing in those gems, I'm like objectify me. Yeah, exactly. Like if you don't know me, don't objectify me. That's not gonna get the point. Like don't
if you
go
don't
into
know
my
me,
DMs.
do not objectify me. If you do know me, please objectify me.
Please.
Are we
All
sending
night
a
we will
bad-
do it.
Are we sending a bad message?
No.
No, that's so true though. Like
If you feel valued and objectified.
yeah, I think that coming on too strong is always a red
Yeah.
flag and a turn off. What are some other red flags that maybe
Where
I don't know.
flirting is just too much. Like it's too like it's not working.
I think one thing that comes to my mind is if the person is not reciprocating it and you keep pushing that same thing. Like if someone slides in and they're flirty and I'm just very like, oh, haha, thank you, or I just heart the message. Let's say they're responding to an Instagram story and they keep going like, oh, let's get dinner sometime, and then I just like heart the message, or maybe I'm just really like dry with them. If you keep pushing on that, there's a time where you need to pack up your suitcase and take a hint.
Mm-hmm. I remember there was a time, and it was like too much. So I've talked about this before, but Facebook dating is great. I love Facebook dating, and I know you guys chuckle
I
at
was
that.
just talking about Facebook dating with Tennis. What was the nickname that we came up with?
Oh, tennis
player?
pro?
Mr. Tennis.
Mr. Tennis.
Mr. Tennis.
And he said, did you know Facebook dating was a thing? And I said, in fact, I did.
yes,
Because my girl was very
Facebook
deep
dating.
into
She's
pro
it.
Facebook
Yep.
dating. The quality and the selection is top tier, except this example that I'm gonna say. But yeah, like there's someone that like on Facebook dating, you know, there's people that swipe on you and then there's matches.
Mhm.
Well, I guess there was someone that saw me. I didn't swipe on them, but on Facebook it had my my Instagram account on there too. And then he DM'd me on Instagram and he said, "Oh, came from Facebook dating, like you're so gorgeous or something." And you know, when you look at your Instagram messages, you could see it without even opening it. It shows like the first sentence. And I saw that and I was like, "Oh." And then I think I ended up like getting to his profile picture and maybe it was like private or something, but I didn't respond back. And literally I post a lot. I post like every single day, 6 days a week. And literally on every single post, he did a ghost emoji, ghost emoji, ghost emoji, ghost emoji, ghost emoji. And this happened for like literally 3 weeks straight. And I was like, I don't owe him anything, you know? And for someone to like literally go out and comment on every single one of my posts, ghost emoji, it's like,
that's scary.
That's too much.
That's
That's
like
someone who
scary.
cannot take rejection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like no. But there was no conversation even started.
I know. But yeah, just the fact that you didn't respond to his.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I don't have like it. Well, it started in person. This would have been cute if it
worked.
If it was cute, yeah. But I was when I was doing a study abroad program in Paris, I was sitting at a coffee shop with my book, and this man comes bustling in, like he's like, well, he's a little like he just like had a morning, and he's like, "Je suis désolé," and I was like, "Oh, like I was like, it's okay," and he's in French, but he's like, "Oh,
how do you say it's okay in French?"
Like ça va. And he's like, "Oh, not a Parisian accent." He's like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "The United States." And he's like, "Oh, well, I feel like I never see anyone reading." He started making conversation, and I think I was a little too nice in the moment because he's like, "I don't want to disturb you if you're reading your book." And I'm like, "No, that's okay."
Well, what are you supposed to say in that situation? I'm like, okay,
yeah,
yes, I'm reading my book. That's rude.
Like, so I was like, "No, that's okay." And he's making conversation. I'm telling him what I'm gonna do. Like, I was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go pick up my friend from the train station. He's coming in, and I'm gonna show him around." And he's like, "Well, until then, how would I take you somewhere that's not very touristy?" And he's like, "Don't worry, there's people around. You won't be like this."
Where's that?
Yeah, and he was very pushy in a way, like, and I was like, I was in a public place. I could have said no, and I did, and I was like, "Okay, sure." And he took me to this beautiful park, and we walked around. But his questions got increasingly very flirty.
Personal?
Yeah, more like, "Are you seeing anyone?" "Oh, well, he's not here," which I feel like is the French way. And I wasn't really seeing one, but I was infatuated with someone enough where I was like, "Yes, I'm seeing someone." Like, I'm seeing no one else but him. And but he's like, he said this straightforward. He said, "My plan today is to seduce you."
Oh my god.
I want to think like maybe it's a language barrier thing.
Maybe, but he spoke English the whole time. It sounded very, and I even told my mom after. I was like,
"That's wild."
He said he wanted to seduce me, and hearing it so upfront was not a flirt that I was like, "No, this isn't working." And I said no, like no, and by the end of it, he was so mad.
Oh my god!
Like, he said, "You friend zoned me," and I was like, "I told you I was seeing someone." And so the train ride back was very quiet, very upsetting. He messages like the next day on Facebook and like keeps messaging saying, "I'm so sorry for how I was that day. I had a late night. Like, you saw me come into the car. Like, I was this," and I was like, "It's okay." Like, he's like, "Come on my yacht with my friends." I'm like, "No, we're good. We're good."
No.
And he messaged for a long time after, just like being persistent like that.
Really?
And again, I don't know. I'm like, what is it that's giving you the hint that eventually I'm going to say yes? Like, leaving ghost emojis, being persistent in the DMs, constantly messaging someone is not going to make them automatically say, like, yes, I'm in. Let's do this.
I wonder if it had been Mr. Right saying my plan is to seduce you, if you would have found that hot. Because it is all about the person that says it, you know?
It could be. I'm thinking back to the first night I met Mr. Right. And yeah, if he would have said that during the night, "I'm going to like seduce you," or like
But that's a different situation. That was planned. That was a date. The situation you're talking about is a random guy coming in, but all frantic and frazzled.
That was supposed to be an example of like sometimes coming on too strong is rough. So if there's cues where they're into you or they're like enjoying their time with you, pick up on those and see how they're reacting to your flirting. Because if they're acting standoffish, then maybe don't press it. Yeah. They're not interested.
Yeah. So let's talk about the best ways to handle it if someone's flirting with you very obviously and you're not interested. I feel like a go-to, even if you're single, is to say I have a boyfriend.
I agree.
I will
you do not need to be shamed if you use that as an excuse. I think that is so valid. You do not need to you can say anything to get you out of a situation you feel uncomfortable with.
And if they know you already don't have a boyfriend, then I think it's very okay to just be like, "Thank you, I'm not interested, but have a great day." But it is hard.
It is hard.
You feel bad because they did put themselves in a very vulnerable position.
Also, and you have to reject them.
We can also say like, "I'm just not seeing anyone right now. I'm
not interested in dating.
I'm focusing on my career."
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm just so busy.
I was gonna say like, "Thank you so much." Unfortunately, not unfortunately. Thank you so much, but at the moment, you know, I'm focusing on myself and like self growth.
I think everyone is aware at this time that those are code for we're letting you down easy. Please don't push it, because
I will say I was out at a bar probably it was about a year ago at this point, because I was with my ex, And I was with him at the time, but I was not at the bar with him. Like we were together,
Okay.
Yeah.
but we were not presently, physically together. And this guy, I was out in West Hollywood with one of my very good friends, and this guy was hitting on me all night, and I kept being like, oh no, like I kept walking away from him, but he wasn't getting it, and he was following me around, was asking me to buy me drinks, and I was with Zach, and I didn't even think, I just was not even acknowledging him, and I was like, no, I don't want to drink, and then I think I didn't say I had a boyfriend earlier because I was unsure. I didn't want to like seem cocky that I was like, oh, he's definitely flirting. I was unsure if he was being nice. So a lot of times if you say, I have a boyfriend, then they'll be like, whoa, I wasn't even hitting on you, like,
oh yeah.
Because then they take the rejection and they flip it because they feel bad. But eventually by the end of the night,
a sensitive ego to work with.
I know. Eventually at the end of the night, we were ordering Ubers back home, and he was like, oh, can I get your number? I would love to see you. That's when I was like, okay, this is my clear entrance. He's making it very clear now. And I said, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, yeah, I don't believe you. And I was like, I do. And he's like, then what's his name? And I told him his name, and he said, okay, that's a unique ass name, so I believe you. And I'm like, I had to, you put me on can you not take that I'm rejecting you right now? That you're trying to catch me in a lie? And then what if I am lying? Then you just have to walk away knowing that I'm so not interested. I just lied to you. That doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, would that help saying like, actually, no, you're right, I don't have a boyfriend, but I'm saying no?
Yeah.
Then what would you have said? Would you have made me feel even
It's not like,
more scared?
oh, caught you, you don't have a boyfriend, now give me your number.
Yeah.
No,
exactly. I'm not
regardless.
still giving you my number.
Yeah. That was a really
Ruthless.
interesting.
The whole night then, because if you're at the end of the night getting an Uber, he must have really.
And I felt so like he was catching me in a lie, even though he wasn't. But even if he was, I would be perfectly justified.
Yeah.
In like using that as an easy way to let him down. But I was so caught off guard. I was like,
maybe you hurt his ego.
Yeah, I was like, you didn't. And then he found my Instagram. He found my Instagram through like a mutual friend that we were with that night, and he sent me a message, and I just didn't respond.
That's wild.
But it's like you just made yourself look so much.
I think
worse.
because you two are also more present on social media, I just feel like that is just a scarier place because it's harder to get rid of them. Like you can always block accounts, I guess, if it gets to that point, but it's easy for them to get new accounts and go in a different direction, or even not push it to an extent where you feel like you can block it, but they are persistent enough where you're like, really? So I don't know. I mean, in person it can be scary, but when you're violated, like on social media and stuff, you're like, please, I can't get rid of you so easily. Just leave. Like,
you're like, stop.
Don't respond on my post. Don't.
I have muted people on social media, and that's something that I've talked a lot about. I've had people just be really overbearing with flirting in my DMs and then commenting publicly, and I just don't like that. It's just like creepy to me at a certain point. Especially, oh my gosh. So I turned on AI auto responses on my Instagram.
Oh.
So now when someone who I don't follow DMs me, my AI will respond and be like, hey, what's your name? What do you do for a hobby? And it makes it very clear that they're chatting with my AI. But I've had a lot of guys slide into my DMs, like random followers, not like, actual options. But I've had random guys like slide into my DM and be hitting me up and not realize they're talking to an AI and start getting really inappropriate and asking really inappropriate questions.
Oh, no.
And the AI is just like, I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about my videos. And like the AI just does a good job at rewriting the conversation.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm like, that could be kind of dangerous that they fully are having this like parasocial relationship where they think that they're talking to me too. And
That's
I'm not
crazy.
I was reading like a trail of conversations last night between my AI and a follower.
That's
and
wild.
He just kept pushing for like, a specific type of inappropriate video. And the AI was like, I don't want to talk about that. That's not the kind of stuff that I do. And he kept pushing for it. And I'm like,
wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's
disgusting.
wild.
Yeah. See, that's not the way to flirt. That's not like, again, don't objectify me if you don't know me. Mm-hmm. You have no permission to do that.
Don't be too pushy or forceful.
So now as the flirt,
I love your little pencil thing. Like,
it's a bunny tail.
So cute.
I feel like Glinda, I should use this as a magic wand for Glinda. Well, I mean, it's past Halloween already. But,
obviously.
What is your best tip for someone who's shy and not sure how to flirt?
I think exactly the tip I gave on our last episode of if the setting is at the bar. I'll reiterate.
Oh yeah.
If the setting is at a bar and you're shy and nervous, but you think someone is super cute, write your number on a note, go up to them and say, "Hey, my Uber's here. I gotta run, but I saw you, and I wanted to get to know you, so here's my number." boom, you give them your number, and if they're interested, they'll reach back out to you. And it's like the initial meet kind of already happened. It's like an initial icebreaker.
That I like that. I like that.
I think that's such a safe option.
I've never done it.
She hasn't tested
I've never done it. But I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I think you have a quick escape. You don't have to sit there in a bar if they don't accept you, if they don't want the drink, if they don't want to make conversation. You're not like, oh my gosh, now I'm like the weirdo that they said no to, and they see me right there, and you can just kind of like dip, and hopefully the anticipation is worth it, and they answer. And if not, what are the likelihood that you'll run into them again? Like,
it's true.
I think it's safe if you're shy.
I think meeting, like having a meet cute, like I don't know why people call it.
I love meet cute,
but
I
love
that word.
It doesn't really even make sense.
What does that mean?
It's a movie term. It's the meet cute. Yeah, it's like
I don't think I've heard of that.
It's in a movie where two people meet, the protagonists meet. So if a woman and man, what's their meet cute? Oh, it was at a department store. He goes for the boxers, she goes for the shirt, and they look up.
It's like
that's from The Holiday.
You meet someone out. When you meet someone
he says it in The Holiday.
So
yeah,
I feel like it's so much better to meet someone, have a meet cute
outside the bar.
Yeah, or instead of arranging like an app on a dating app, which no shade, obviously, like we all are dating app girlies.
I'm
but
a product of
yes.
Yeah, but I think that it's so cute to have that first moment of contact, as you were saying. Like now that first moment of contact has happened. I think if someone saw me out and was interested in me, and then it's the hour mark. If someone saw me out and then messaged me after the fact being like, I saw you, but I was too nervous to go up to you, I'd be like, I wish that you just went up to me, and then we could have had our first, interaction in person, because you get a better vibe for someone.
I feel like you have mentioned that has happened. Maybe not in a romantic way, but in more of like a fan way. Like people are like, oh, I saw you, but I was so nervous to go up to you.
But it's also happened in a romantic way.
Yeah.
Where I'll be at the same event as someone, and then I get this DM, and they're like, you were just at this event, I was too nervous to go up, and I'm like, I don't even know, I don't recognize you. Like, I wish you would have just come up, and then we could have had that read.
Yeah.
Because you get so much off of in person.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I think, sometimes the scary thing about a dating app is the first time you're meeting this person, it's a date. Like, it's already a date. Instead of, like, you meet someone at the grocery store, and you get a vibe, and there's chemistry, and then you go out on a date.
Yeah.
Dating apps, it's kind of like your first time ever even making eye contact with this person is already in a romantic setting.
Yeah.
And it's making me anxious just talking about
it. And
the
thing with dating apps is like, obviously the agenda is to date. So it's like you create a sense of just like romanticness before even meeting them. And then you meet them. And what if they're completely the opposite of who you expected?
Yeah.
Because it's just, you're communicating via text message. So your image of that person is being built, but when you meet up with them, let's say a week or two later, it's like, this is not who I thought it was.
Exactly. And flirting in person can be so different versus flirting over dating
absolutely.
apps, also flirting over text message.
I can't make half of those conversations I put into text into a word-to-word conversation.
It's like you have the shield.
So there's thought behind those.
I think as I'm thinking about it, I also think that dating apps, the messages are usually a lot more forward because you're both there for the same reason. Like, you've matched with each other, so you already have the validation that you are interested in each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So you could be a little bit more bold with your approach. Whereas I think when you're flirting or sliding into the DMs of someone who you're not sure is interested, it could be maybe a little bit more subtle.
Slower. Yeah.
But yeah, it's so interesting.
I don't know. Like,
it just got sexy.
I know. Again. Mood setting.
Yeah.
They know the agenda. Yeah.
Am I tripping?
They're on cue.
Did it just darken?
No, it did. It did. I think so.
Yeah.
But no, I like flirting. I don't want to be in a relationship where flirting ever stops. I think flirting can be such a key part of intimacy and building that fun, quirky, lively parts of ourselves in our relationships. And it also is like, it builds creativity when you have to be creative about what you're saying or how you're saying it or how you can make your partner feel all cutesy. Then you have to think outside the box sometimes. And so I just think it's such a fun element of dating and being in relationships that it is always a cornerstone of how I view a lens I view my relationships. I'm like, okay, can they be flirty with me? Can they like engage that side of my mind? Because you know, when you feel like you're stifled in some way where you can't be, if you are that kind of person where you can't be as flirty, or they're not receiving it in the same way, or they don't understand it, it puts out part of you. You're like, oh, okay, well, now I'm just going to bundle up and I guess act all straight laced because you're not receiving this as well. And
you want to be reciprocated.
Yeah. It's fun when it's reciprocated.
Do you feel like it is reciprocated in your current relationship?
Yes, in a different way, because he is a shy boy. So
that's why I asked.
He's a shy boy, and I think he's definitely less shy with people he knows and situations that he knows people. So if he goes to a friend's party, if he's out with his group of people at a bar, he's very lively. He's the life of the party. He will be witty and spontaneous and charismatic. But when he doesn't know anyone, like when we first met, he was quiet. He was really quiet, and I had to do I made a reservation.
You're carrying the tea.
Let's go to the drink. And then, we start talking about our lives, and we're also a margarita inn. And I think
that always helps.
I think alcohol helped him loosen and realize we can talk freely. You don't have to be so nervous. And I think now that he also understands how flirty I am. I'm a very flirty person, and he receives that very well. Like, he doesn't do it to the same degree as I do. I don't know if I should be dating the people that can. Honestly,
That's
people
dangerous.
that kept up with me though they were not good men.
Yeah.
But he flirts in his very cutesy way. Like, I think he's adorable when he tries to flirt. And when we play our games, we talk about he's nervous, and he does his best where he'll try to when it says, what's your favorite body part about your partner? He gets all bashful and he answers, and I think that's very cute. So
that is cute.
As long as he's willing to try to engage with me and not just be like, no, I'm not doing that. As long as he's willing to try, when I ask him to dance with me in the kitchen, because I do, I'm like, can you dance with me and as long as he's willing to, then I think okay, we got this.
Yeah.
But if he stops, then I'll be like, okay,
you're like, what's wrong?
No, you're gonna flirt with me, gosh darn it.
I feel like he's willing to try to meet you where
exactly.
Maybe he's not initiating it in the same way because he just doesn't everyone is different, but he doesn't put you down for
I still feel very comfortable to be that part of myself, and he receives it I'm gonna try, and I'm like, okay, I can be the power factor here. I know I'll lead it, but as long as you're willing to come along for the ride, then we'll make it.
So you're dishing out these cues, and he's taking them, and he's like, okay, I'm a little nervous to dish it out, but I see it's coming from her, so I'm going to go along with the ride.
Dish it out. He is so nervous. I'm not afraid to say, I'll send pictures. I'll send them in the middle of his workday. I'll send them if I'm,
my girl,
away from him for a night. I am sending pictures. And I know the response, too. You can't, if you know someone how they're going to respond, don't build up an expectation.
How does he respond?
Well, babe.
Oh, very sexy.
Very sexy, babe.
The impression that you do of him is so good.
Very nice, babe. Looking so good.
I could see him saying that.
And I could tell, because then if he also comes home, I'll be like, did you get my picture? He's like, oh yes, I responded. Very nice.
And his face is probably really
his
red
face
while
is
he's saying it.
And then he'll try to change the conversation, what do you want for dinner? I'm like, no, we're gonna. I'm like, I want to hear more about this picture. Yeah. What did you like about it?
Because you're so in touch with
I'm so,
that side of you.
Yeah, I just like that. And yes, it's not that I get enjoyment from how squirmish he is, but
it's kind of fun.
But it's fun for me because this is how I like to interact. So as long as he's not gonna be like, you're gross, you're perverted, you only need this,
which he shouldn't.
He's
your boyfriend.
Yeah,
he gets lucky far too often. Then I think it'll work. So yeah, I'm happy because it's just so funny.
It's
cute.
So fun. I just love seeing you guys interact. Period.
It's very it's fun to see how different couples interact. Like Rachel and Bachelor, they interact different than how Mr. Right and I interact, and and
everyone acts different.
I love you so much.
I know. I was like, that's all, folks.
And that's the only couple in this room.
That's the only other couple in this room. But know, it's always fun as long as you feel secure and like you're being like yourself is being appreciated. Because I mean, my parents are pretty dirty. I was like, my
parents are.
I was like, my mom is very, but my dad matches, I think. But like, as long as you feel like you don't have to hide or dim down a light of yourself, then it works. Like, you guys can be two opposites and still work. Yeah.
So just be your true self.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel like you flirt with Bachelor?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I think we flirt great.
Like, I think you do too.
I feel like I am a very flirty person, and I definitely like showing it. One of my favorite love language is like physical touch.
Physical touch.
Oh. So I definitely.
How could we have guessed?
Oh, how could we have guessed?
Never would have known.
No. I definitely feel like I feel like whenever I dish it out, it is 100% received, or like if it's dished out on the other side, 100% received. It's like such a great compliment and such a great balance, and it's like if I want more, I could get more. If I want less, like I could get less. It's like we totally read and understand each other, which is so nice.
No, I know there's some things that maybe down the line we'll get into, but Rachel and Bachelor have like so many couple like things to do with each other, and
Rachel's like, I mean, Lexi's giving drunk right now, and she's not.
I'm not. I'm giddy on flirty talk. Yeah. I'm giddy, but you know what I mean. And you guys just you guys engage with each other on the levels that you want to, and you're both receiving like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you feel love this way, I feel love that way. We like so it's fun to see you guys together like that, because you guys are very in tuned with that side of each other. I think.
I agree.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, as like kind of parting words for the audience, what are some ways in which we can advise the audience to help build confidence when they want to take that leap and flirt with someone, whether it's someone at a bar or on the street, or a friend that you are just trying to, like, how do you...
Oh, a friend that you've been...
I don't know. I mean, really anything. I would say, like, what I think about what helps me build confidence, because I think of myself as a pretty confident person, is just, like, just reminding yourself that it's never that serious. It's, like, literally never that serious. And most flirting can be played off as a joke if they can't receive it. Like, I love making super forward jokes, and... you know, usually no one complains about it. But if someone were to complain, I could just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just messing around. Like, I'm so sorry. I'll stop." But I think that, like, just reminding yourself that it's never that serious. It's totally okay. Like, it is, like, we're literally on a floating rock. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's what helps me just, like, go in with confidence.
I would say, like, I 100% agree with that. And along the same lines, just having the mentality is, the worst thing they could say is no. You know, the worst thing they could say is no. I'd rather I'd rather receive a no than a what if.
Yeah.
Contemplating in my mind.
That's true.
What if, you know, like I was super attracted to someone and I didn't do anything about it. What if? What if they were my person? The worst thing that
and they never knew that you were interested.
Exactly.
That I know that mindset helps me, and if it doesn't settle your nerves right now hearing that, like the worst thing they can say no, then I think going somewhere with friends that help you like feel that confidence, where they're like, no, go up to him, go up to her, say this, and they'll push you to step outside your comfort zone. And if you do get rejected, you have them to also be like, they're nothing, or like, it's
That's
okay.
So true.
It's just helpful to have like a group around you pushing you outside, being like, no, you got to do it. Like, hey, come on, we're not gonna let you like go.
Yeah.
And like
That's
having
so
someone to fall back to, like, well, that went horrible. Like, can we go somewhere?
Yeah, and laugh about it.
I think that's reassuring, where it's almost like you can fail together instead of fail alone, where you're like, oh, everyone saw me crash and burn when really no one did in your group, and you can laugh about it.
Yeah,
like,
you're chuckling. And in regards to that, you literally sparked a memory. I was watching this video. Hilarious. If it was done to
the
me,
hand motions. Hilarious.
If it was done to me, like, I would have been like, bravo, dead.
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna say.
But literally, like, if you think someone's cute but you're nervous, you know, you go up to them and be like, my friend over there thinks you're really cute. And then they're like, who? Where? And you're like, over there. And then you point and you run to where you point and you stand
and
like right there.
that. I think that's such a funny one.
I think it's
But
hilarious.
that is very forward. Like if you get rejected, doing
that
like,
has to
no,
be.
that is very forward. I'm just saying.
I don't know if
you're able to laugh at that.
If I saw a guy do that,
I think it's hilarious. I
think
saw
it's
that
great.
TikTok.
Yeah.
that is cute. But like, even if you weren't into him, then like, would you say like that was so clever? I love that, but like, I have a boyfriend, or I'm okay.
If I was single,
or would you give him a chance?
If I was single, like fully single, I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm not dating anyone right now, but that was just so good.
Okay.
I'll give you my Instagram.
You'd commend, yeah, all right.
Or if I was in a relationship, I'd be like, damn, I have a boyfriend, but like that's so gonna work on someone else. Like that was so good. You bet, like hype them up.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in such a vulnerable position. I think there's no reason to be rude to someone that you're not interested to if they
as long
come
as they're
up
not
to you.
crossing lines with you.
If they come up to you respectfully, you have to recognize how I want to say like for the cojones that they have, like it's like the audacity, the balls that they have.
Unless you're a girl approaching my boyfriend, like.
Yeah,
he's already been told he has to put his hand in your face and say, "Don't talk to me. I have a girlfriend."
That's so funny. But I think that like it takes a lot, and so if they're being respectful, there's no reason for you to be like, "I have a boyfriend."
No,
like, you be nice. You commend them for what they just did.
Be
and
gentle about it.
Maybe you help set them up with someone else at the bar. You never know.
That's true.
Actually, yeah.
Oh.
Funny, just like random throughout.
Another hand.
Just random.
She loves her hand motions.
I went to Vegas a couple months ago with my boyfriend, and actually maybe I shouldn't say the story. Never mind.
And on that note, we're gonna wrap up the episode.
Yeah. Alright, guys.
That's hilarious.
That is so great. Okay.
The amount of times I feel like we've done that in our head. That was perfect.
How do I get out of this story? Yeah.
That was you guys.
That was hilarious.
Okay, yeah, please tell us that.
Well, now we gotta wrap this up so we can hear the story.
I know.
But that was part 2 of the art of flirting. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode.
I love these episodes.
Had a lot of fun. I think it's time to change out of our pajamas now.
I think so.
Not on camera.
It's getting kind of hot and heavy in here.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to give us a 5-star, subscribe, follow, all that jazz, and stay tuned because there will be a new episode every Monday morning. Yes. It's your girl, Cosette,
Lexi,
and Rachel.
Bye.